Ooh, President Trump can talk now. Or can he? Good day, everybody. Welcome to my channel, Modern Renaissance Man. I am Ty Smith. Thank every last one of you guys for viewing my content. I really would appreciate it if you would make sure you click this right here so that this type of content can consistently be recommended to you, the American people. Also, don't forget to follow me on the platforms you see above and below, all right? Appreciate it. So a big, huge breaking story came out. I mean, I was at work and folks were just hitting me up. Did you hear? Did you hear? Trump can talk. Trump can talk. The judge lifted the gag order. The judge, but you know how it is, guys. Everybody's saying the judge lifted the gag order. The judge lifted the gag order. Trump can talk. But a person like me, I don't go, oh, really? Oh, yay. No, I have to go and read and research to see if Trump can indeed start talking. And yeah, check this out.
Jonathan Turley, he is approaching, and this is breaking news, and he is sitting down on the desk with us here in New York City. Great to see you, Professor.
Thank you.
If I could just bring you right in. So the judge has now, it's fair to say, he's altered the gag order, right? He has not lifted, because there are still some restrictions here. But this will allow Donald Trump to talk about witnesses, which the DA, the Manhattan DA's office, did ask the judge to keep that portion of the gag order up. He is not. He is now able to talk about the witnesses, the jury after this hush money conviction. So where do you see this going?
Well, there's still a problematic aspect to all this. He's preserving a gag order in part long after the jury has left and the verdict has been brought in. That sort of defeats the purpose of gag orders. The idea of gag orders are these navigational beacons that are designed to preserve the fairness of a trial. It's not clear to many of us why he didn't just lift the gag order. I mean, this party's over. He's heading towards sentencing, but he's not protecting a fair trial. One of the things that President Trump has wanted to talk about is the fact that you had people like Colangelo, who came from the Biden Justice Department to effectively lead aspects of this prosecution. And that type of cross-pollination is precisely what has been alleged in this weaponization of the criminal justice system. And so he's gotten a bit of a half loaf here. But the question is, why is Merchan still operating this throttle control over what a presidential candidate can say or not say?
The limitations are on individual prosecutors, court staff, and their family members. Right. And he's saying that's essentially until the sentencing on July 11th. But that still doesn't make sense to you. Well,
in terms of the prosecutors, that was a big ticket item for former President Trump, is his ability to talk about how this prosecution team came together. In terms of the family members, that obviously was an issue early on. But the real question here is why isn't the normal conditions appropriate here? He was convicted. People are protected by defamation laws. They're protected by a variety of different things. Why is it necessary for this one judge in Manhattan to continue to hang this Damocles sword over his head and say, look, if I hear a thing that I'm concerned with, I'm going to pull you back in here, and you could be in violation of this order? And so it still is this disconnect as to why we're even talking about a gag order at this stage. It's clear the case is still before him. Okay, the sentencing hasn't occurred. I get that. But to not acknowledge that this is a presidential campaign, and this is one of the big issues in that presidential campaign, I think is really nonsense. That the judge could have gone further than he did. I think it's good that he lifted it in part. I think that he recognizes that. I don't know why he didn't do that right after the verdict came in.
Jillian?
Jonathan, it was almost like I summoned you by quoting you, because I was literally telling Sandra something you told me a week ago, and then she was like, Jonathan's sitting down. Thank you for jumping in the hot seat so quickly. This really couldn't come at a better time, though, I don't think, for the Trump campaign, because politically speaking, as you know, his lawyers have been arguing forever that this gag order was stifling his campaign speech. Now it's being partially lifted just in time for the debate, which is 48 hours from now, essentially. There was reporting that there was even concern inside the Trump camp that that gag order was going to limit the former president's ability to respond to certain criticisms from President Biden.
Well, it still will limit him to some extent. And by the way, you can summon me anytime by saying my name 3 times in the dark, and I will haunt any house. It still is dangling out there. That's part of the problem here, is that it's the uncertainty as to what will constitute a violation. What Trump wants to talk about is how the criminal system was weaponized in this case and how the Biden administration played a role in that. And the key linchpin for many of the critics of this case is this individual, Colangelo, one of the prosecutors. To what extent can he speak about that? It's still not clear. And it's that uncertainty which creates the chilling effect. But that's bad enough for free speech. It's even worse when this is one of the issues upon which millions of citizens may be casting their vote. This is clearly something that has affected many independent voters who don't like the look of it. We can debate the other cases, but many of us view Manhattan as a raw political prosecution. And that is going to be part of the debate, and that's going to be part of the election.
That is a big statement. So big news just coming in. We'll continue to follow all that. Jonathan, thank you.
So now he can start talking about particular people, except the prosecutor, the court staff, some of their family. So I'm not going to focus on the ones that he can talk about, because the ones that he can talk about, we're going to eventually hear that most likely during this debate that's going to come on Thursday. I will do my best to cover that live, folks, so make sure you guys keep my channel pulled up on that day, because YouTube will not notify you that I am doing anything live. As a matter of fact, while you're watching this, or when you get done watching this, double check and make sure that you still are subscribed to the channel, because YouTube will unsubscribe you from the channel. Okay, so check this out. Check this out. For them to say that Trump can't say nothing about the prosecutors, the court staff, makes me wonder, what is it that they did or didn't do to keep them hands off? He can't say nothing about them. No matter what you say, folks, just because you give a person a little bit of something like this does not mean that this still, in my opinion, is still not against the First Amendment. That is freedom of speech. So you can say this, you just can't say it about that. Absolutely, still in my point of view, that's unacceptable. The dang on case is over. The verdict has been reached, and now that it has been reached, that means you should have fair game to say what you want to, but now still a gag order? Guys, it's still a gag order. Even though he still said Trump can talk about these particular things, it still is a gag order. I don't know why the judge has it set up in such a way to protect the prosecutors' family, or the court staff. Really, really weird to me. Why do you guys think that? Why do you think that the judge is allowing him to talk about things that we've all been waiting to talk about anyway? It's not like now, let's be real. It's not like what Trump is going to say is going to be of any surprise to us. We already know anyway. His lawyers have been speaking for him on these particular matters anyway. But just to be able to hear it from Trump, is it going to make that much of a difference? But again, the ones he can't say nothing about is still the ones I'm wondering about. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think by putting it in the comments below after this video. And don't forget to hit this thumbs up right here so that my content can be circulated within the YouTube algorithm. And yes, I am being heavily shadow banned. The message is being suppressed because I'm not the typical Negro that's a victim and on a plantation right now and crying victim and all that. They don't like people who are free, victorious, and spitting truth out, right? I am Ty Smith, model Renaissance man, hoping and praying that every last one of you have food, shelter, and clothing. Most of all, I pray every last one of you guys are in great health mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. God bless you all through Jesus.